this treasure, I summon.
With Blue Lock Season 2 on its way in just a couple of days, I think it's time that we talk about just how cooked the second season may be. So obviously in Season 1, there were a lot of complaints about bad animation, and this is common in a lot of animes due to rushed studios, or strapped for time, or even running out of money. And this can be shown in Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2. The Sukuna vs Maharaga fight was poorly animated, but they eventually went back and fixed the animation for Blu-ray and DVD releases. But the first season of Blue Lock was already controversial because it was such a good storyline and the manga did fantastic, but then it was just poorly animated in the second half. I don't see as many complaints about the first half of Season 1 being the first selection, but I do see so many complaints about the second selection, and I'm gonna put a few examples up right now, but it is pretty bad. And it's not as bad as, say, Naruto or 90% of Dragon Ball Super, but it is really bad at times. And the trailer for Season 2 of Blue Lock does not fix any of this. In fact, it makes it worse. So let's go ahead and review the two trailers we have right now. So it starts off with a bunch of Isagi's puzzle pieces floating around, and there's no real animation in this scene, but it's just puzzle pieces with various characters' faces on it, including Bachira, Nagi, Karasu, Yukimiya, Hiyori, Nanase, some weird guy with white and green hair, I forgot his name, and even Sayatoshi is here, and Ryusei Shido, and even Rin Itoshi. It just goes ahead and shows a bunch of Blue Lock's main characters before panning back to Isagi, and an overview of all these puzzle pieces that it just showed. And in the trailer, it's mostly just these, these puzzle pieces, with the main three being Rin, Shido, and Isagi, as Season 2 only goes into the third selection and the U20 art. And in this first trailer, there's nothing really showing the animation. So if we move on to the next video, the second trailer starts off with Igo talking about how the Blue Lock players will be taking on Japan's U20 team, and it will be captained by Itoshi Sai, Rin's brother. And he goes on to say, if you win, you'll represent Japan and whatnot. And we get our first glimpses of the animation here. And let me tell you, it is awful. You can't really tell much just by looking at silhouettes and Igo on the big screen, but then it pans over to Isagi, and this man looks like paper. It literally looks like they put in the least amount of effort and just colored in the manga panel, clipped it out, and then pasted it into the thing and just like moved it around as if it was on a slideshow. That's genuinely how it looks. But even Isagi's eyes, which are supposed to be like, I guess, flowing, it looks horrendous, if I must say the least. And then we start to get glimpses of how the actual season will look. The first thing we see is Rin passing the ball to Shido, as they are both on a team with Hiyori, Isagi, and Nanase. And immediately after, we get a look at Isagi, which looks like a copy and pasted photo that they just made like jiggle a little bit. And like, that's it. Other than that, this scene looks pretty horrendous, if you ask me, because like, you can't really see much. It's just Rin kicking a ball and that's it. While there's, I'm gonna call them sprites. Their sprites are barely moving, and it just looks terrible. Shido is just like slightly moving upwards by like 10 centimeters per 1 second, and he's not moving or anything. It's just Rin kicking the ball, and then the ball spins, and then again there's Isagi that looks like a copy and paste of him jiggling, but there's literally more effort into Igo, and he barely appears in Blue Lock at all, if I'm being honest. And then we get a quick cut to the other contenders, where the main focus is Igarashi, Kurona, and Reo. And I don't care what Igarashi looks like, honestly. Igaguri, whatever you want to call him. He looks terrible either way. I don't like the buzz cut on him. But Kurona actually looks decent, and same with Reo. They look pretty, or at least from this angle, they look pretty decent. But then, like, obviously it gets worse. And then it cuts to like Baro and Chigiri, who also happen to look okay, but I guess it's like the positioning of these scenes, but like they still look like cardboard cutouts. It still looks terrible. It's just like it's not as bad as the other clips. And then we get a shot that pans to Nagi and Bachira, and it's just a close-up of Bachira's face. So again, it's kind of blurry, so you can't really tell from this, but Nagi looks insane. I'm just glazing him a little bit, you know, but he doesn't look that cardboardish. Like, he actually looks like he's normally animated, but again, it's just a picture. And then I don't know what this guy's name is. It's like Atoya or something, but this guy with like the green strip of hair in the front of his face, and he looks normal as well. Kenya Yukimiya, he looks okay. I wouldn't say he's terrible, but he's definitely not good. And then Shido, that's another bad like representation of him. We've gotten 2 bad shots of Shido so far. His animation is one of the worst, and it looks like he's sandy cheeks with his tooth sticking out. And he does look menacing though, but less menacing since he's purple and blonde, and he's poorly animated, so he's not menacing. And then Rin looks okay as well. And obviously it explains more about how the thing works, and we get more shots of Rin, Nagi, Shido, Yukimiya, Karasu, and I'm gonna say Atoya. And Nagi looks like a chibi, kind of. He looks like a child in this shot. And then, like, you know, Shido and Rin still look not good at all. The other 3, they don't look good at all either. But so we get a clip of the game where it shows Isagi and Shido going up against Atoya and some random guy. And this looks sad too. I'm not gonna like say how bad it is, but it's pretty bad. You guys can see for yourself. And then this scene of like Isagi receiving the ball, terrible. It's just terrible. Like, all the animation went into ego. That's literally, and he's just on a screen. But then this other shot of when Isagi receives the ball and it's just like moving up a little bit, it looks like the animation got a little bit better, but it's insane how they degrade it so much. And then there's a scene of like someone running, and the running animation, it just shows the legs and the feet. That is already better than 90% of the animation shown. And then we get to another clip of Rin and Isagi, and they are playing against this team, probably the same team that has Atoya and that other guy, and they're running around, and it literally looks like Dragon Ball Super animation, where it showed like Goku and Beerus and like the worst possible animation, and the worst animation I've ever seen. That's what it looks like when they're running around this guy. And then Rin, it literally looks like when Rin is kicking the ball behind this guy, it literally looks like a slideshow, and they just dragging the picture of Rin and the ball. And then we get a close-up of Rin, which looks okay-ish. And then we get Shido, and it looks like all the animation again was poured into Shido's eyeball turning purple, or like highlighting his purple eyeball. And then he does, I don't know what this is called, a bicycle kick, and he kicks the ball into the goal. And again, nobody's moving except for the ball. It looks terrible. And then we get Rin and Shido arguing, and they're both grabbing each other by the shirts. And again, this looks straight out of the manga. They just colored the panels, made the outlines bolder, and then put it into the show for some odd reason. And there's a scene that showcases Nanase, Hiyori, and Sagi, and this actually looks like season 1 type animation. It's just like, again, kind of cardboardy, but it still looks decent. So like, not especially Nanase, he actually looks pretty normal. I'm not gonna lie, Nanase looks pretty good. And then again, Hiyori's passing the ball, and this looks okay. And we cut back to Bachira, who's, I don't know honestly, because like everything here is so insane, like you can't tell what's good and what's bad. Like, it's all so fast paced in this trailer. But then close up of Bachira's face does not look good. I don't think a close up of his face would look good at all in season 2, because they can't even handle season 1. and then we get Isagi passing the ball or kicking the ball, trying to make a goal, whatever. And I'm not gonna lie, the next scene is Chigiri stealing the ball or kicking it, whatever. And he literally looks like they turned him into a sticker in Paper Mario and inserted him and just moved him across the slideshow. Moved the ball as well. And Isagi's of course not moving. And then I don't know what this other guy is doing. I think it's Atoya. It literally looks like he entered the zone from Kuroko's basketball, but with terrible animation, you know. And then here we go again with Karasu trying to guard Isagi. And it's just, it looks so bad. And we're only 53 seconds into this trailer. And then of course we get like this random countdown, and then we get back to the puzzle piece, which showcases the ending theme song. And it showcases them going into Rin and Sai's childhood. I'm not gonna like spoil anything, but this looks decent, at least Sai's perspective of things, it looks decent. When you cut to Rin, it looks okay, and then it cuts to Aiku, and it looks pretty good, honestly. Aiku's animation looks okay, his looks good, and that's about it, you know. And we of course cut back to Nagi and the others, and Nagi, I'm still glazing him and Reo look pretty good. Baro with his hair down, that's already a red flag, because I mean, like, the animation here looks fine, but it's just the context of his hair being down does not look good. And then more Rin and Shido, Karasu, Atoya, Yukimiya, their animation's okay, and then Nagi's is perfect. And then we cut back to Isagi, where it just announces the release date of Saturday, October 5th, which I'm recording this audio, I'm not editing it yet, on October 2nd, so I gotta haul ass already, so yeah. Yeah, so those are the two trailers. The animation looks abysmal, and I'm not talking about in the context of Friends, where Joey tells Monica, "Don't worry, your food is abysmal." That's what they said in the paper, and he thinks abysmal is a good thing, so.
Am I awful?
No. Hey, Monica, you listen to me, okay? And I'm not just saying this because I'm your friend. I'm saying it because it's the truth. Your food is abysmal.
That, but not using it in that context, it definitely is pretty bad. And that's all I gotta say. Tune in to Blue Lock this Saturday, and I will be posting about it once the first episode drops, because I can't wait to see how bad this animation is in the actual show as well. So peace out.